it's so crazy when they introduce animals to an island and it winds up fucking everything up, like Galapagos Island. You know, and I'm sure you're familiar with the Judas goats.
Judas goats? Are those the ones in the Galapagos?
Do you know how they do that?
I
how
don't.
they eradicate goats? It's really interesting.
Not from the helicopters?
Yeah, well, this is how they do it. They goats like to hang out together, right? But sometimes it's hard to locate them.
Sure.
So they put a radio collar on one goat. They castrate it, and then they let it loose. And they gun down all the goats around it and let that goat go find the rest of the goats.
No way.
And he goes and finds the rest of the goats, and they gun down those goats because they have the radio collar. Yeah, so these... What is this, Jamie?
It's a picture of a Judas goat, I guess.
So he's just white.
Judas goat.
Wow, that's what... hey.
Maybe.
Looked it up. There's a couple other pictures.
How sad is that single goat's life? He's like,
He's
friends.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Helicopters.
So I'm actually heading there on Monday to the Galapagos. Yeah.
They make you take your shoes off, right? And scrub to make sure that you don't have weird seeds in the bottom of your shoes.
I have to stop eating seeds, quarantine for 48 hours when we arrive.
Stop eating seeds so you don't shit it out.
Exactly.
Wow.
Yep.
Quarantine for 48 hours.
Yep.
Wow. Why is there so much concern about this one area?
It's the dawn of evolution. You know, it's where Darwin came up with a theory of evolution due to the finches. It has been destroyed in some aspects, and it's been the habitat has been fixed in a lot of places. There's been great conservation efforts, and personally, I love what they're doing because they're trying to keep it pristine. You know, I think it's fantastic that there's a quarantine. I think it's great that I'm not supposed to eat seeds for 2 weeks before going there. And it's to keep it as perfect as it is. Now, the island that I'm going to with my small team has like nobody ever stepped foot on it. It's an active volcano. It erupts every year. It's this crazy, harsh environment. We have to have a new pair of boots every day because it melts and shreds your boots just walking on it.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's been described as hell on Earth, so I'm stoked.
Wow. Now, what kind of protective gear do you have to wear other than your boots?
Just long sleeve clothing.
How hot does it get?
So the guy was telling me it's like 45 degrees Celsius, so it's well over 100. And that's, we got to be careful about water and hiking, and there's a lot of elements. But that's the thing is I'm looking for an animal nobody's seen in a very long amount of time, so you got to go to these places nobody's going.
Wow. That's incredible. You know, it's interesting, the idea of invasive species too, right? Because like Hawaii is a good example.
Yep.
Hawaii, there's been talk of getting rid of pigs.
Yep.
And a lot of the natives are like, well, slow down, because we hunt them, we eat them,
right.
and if they're invasive, then what are we?
Right, totally.
Because the pigs were here right around the same time that people were there, and we've existed together.
They need each other, and it's culture. You know, at that point, it's Polynesian culture to eat a fire roasted pig and hunt your pig, and so it's a delicate balance. Like Hawaii is a perfect example. There's mongoose that were introduced that destroyed the birds, and there's turtles, there's frogs, there's all kinds of things that have been brought in there, but none of those are culturally significant. Whereas the pig, as you're saying, is a huge cultural significance. So where is the balance?
Well, one of the best examples of that would be like Lanai, because Lanai has this insane population of axis deer. We go and bow hunt them there every year. They're delicious and they're plentiful, and it's one of the most really ethical hunts because you have to hunt them.
Right.
I mean, they're so overpopulated. There's 20,000 of them on an island with 3,000 people.
Yep.
And have you ever been?
To Lanai, I have, yeah.
Crazy,
I was diving
right?
there. I was spearfishing there.
Do you see all the axis deer?
Everywhere.
It's
everywhere.
bananas.
It's crazy.
Boing, boing.
And they're so beautiful with their spots, and they're amazing animals. And, I'm all for it. Like, hunting is a tool for conservation, absolutely.
Yeah, but it's just bizarre that they did that. They decided to let deer loose on an island with nothing to eat the deer but people.
Right.
And then when this was done, it was like King Kamehameha, which is, what year was that?
I couldn't say. A long time ago, yeah.
Long time ago. So back then, I don't even know if they had guns. I mean, how were they hunting these things back then?
Bows and spears, I
Probably,
presume.
right? And they brought them over from Asia, right?
Yep, they're from Asia. Same thing with New Zealand, right? There's axis deer, there's goats, there's all kinds of things, or not axis, but red deer. There's all kinds of things down there.
Yeah.
And same thing, they're all brought in for sport.
Yeah, New Zealand's a weird one, right? So is Australia. They brought a lot of stuff over there from Europe. But New Zealand specifically, they were trying to make it like a hunter's paradise, right?
And I think it is, right? Tell me if I'm wrong.
No, it is. But it's a weird one because it's mostly high fence.
Dude, you're going to love this. So, onto my extinct animal thing. They took moose into New Zealand. They took like 10 of them, small population. Believe that they've been hunted out. They shot the last one, blah, 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 blah. There's one guy, crazy looking dude, long hair, long beard, like nuts looking guy, and he's been on the hunt, not hunt, but like trying to prove that the New Zealand moose is still there. He's found antler sheds, he's found bedding sites. Some guy even got a picture of one standing on a rock, and moose. To me, it's 100% a moose.
Right.
And so there, in theory, somewhere down the South Island, there's 1 or 2 or 3 of these super elusive moose that have been in New Zealand for like 50 years.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, New Zealand is so fucking rugged.
Yeah.
There's a friend of mine has been there. My friend Adam Greentree. He's been there. He lives in Australia and he goes there to hunt tar. Mm-hmm. And they live on
the
steepest, craggiest shale where the rock's real slippery and it's just like cold as shit and really high altitude. And you've seen them before, right?
Yeah, I have.
They look like a science fiction animal.
They're as me and my friend, me and the guys I work with like to say, stranger than fiction. You look at it and you're like, that's not a real creature. Like some kid drew that.
Yeah, like a big old shaggy, weird-looking thing.
This is the area where they think they are in New Zealand.
The moose?
Yeah.
Did you see that picture of the one on the rock, sticking out?
It's right there.
Yeah.
Oh,
tell me that's not a moose. That's a moose.
That's the last one that was last picture taken.
Oh,
there's 1952.
There's a recent one though. There's one from like 2 or 3 years ago, and I looked at it and I'm like, that's a moose. Like I don't know who's saying it's not, but it's a moose.
Wow.
Yeah.
From 1952. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's 100% a moose.
Right.
But again, how weird is it that there's animals that are there, and then there's animals like, we must find this. So they spend incredible amounts of time and all these resources. Is that it?
That's the one.
Yeah, that's 100% a moose.
That's a freaking moose.
That's no doubt about it.
See?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. God damn it, people.
Yeah, that doesn't even make sense that anybody would argue that.
Right.
That's a pretty clear picture.
But that's not proof because they need genetic material. They need fur. They need something.
What do they think that is? A cloud?
Exactly.
A rubber moose that someone stuck there to goof on people?
Are they like arguing that somebody could have computer generated it just to fool people?
All those. And I appreciate it, right? As a scientist, I appreciate the fact that you have to have proof.
Right.
But it does get to the point of ridiculousness.
Yeah, well, it's certainly possible. It's certainly possible that especially when you're looking at that insanely dense terrain.
Right.